Today let's talk about coordinate planes. What is a coordinate plane? You have probably seen something like this before at some point in your life, and this right here is a coordinate plane. Okay, the word plane is because this is a two-dimensional thing. Remember, we talked about planes previously. A plane is a flat surface. And this, it's flat, it has two dimensions, the x-axis and the y-axis. And it tells you the coordinates of things. You can think of a coordinate as a location. So for a coordinate plane, we can know the location of various points and even various shapes. Alright, so this is a coordinate plane. There are some features that we should name on this plane. First of all, we have axes. Okay, axes. You have a y-axis and you have an x-axis. So a coordinate plane is going to have two axes. We have this spot right here in the very center. This is called the origin. Okay, the origin, the very center. Another thing about coordinate planes is they are broken up into four quadrants. Okay, quadrants. Quad meaning four. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the numbering system for the quadrants uses Roman numerals. So here's a coordinate plane, okay? This is quadrant 1 right here. Okay, right here. This is quadrant 1. In quadrant 1, the x's are positive and the y's are positive. So positive, positive, that's quadrant 1. And then we move counterclockwise. Right here is quadrant 2. Right here. For quadrant 2, we have negative x's and positive y's. 2. And here is quadrant 3. Negative x's and negative y's. Quadrant 3. And lastly, we have quadrant 4, which is positive x's and negative y's. So these quadrants are a quick way to talk about a particular section of a coordinate plane. Right? So I might say to you, let's look at quadrant 2. Let's look at quadrant 4, or quadrant 1, quadrant 3, whatever. Okay? Quadrant 1, 2, 3, 4. Coordinate planes are normally used with ordered pairs. Okay? An ordered pair, it looks like this. It's going to have an x value and a y value. And an ordered pair shows up as a point. So for example, if I drew, I'm just going to randomly draw a point, okay? I'm going to say like right here. That point. This would be a point on the coordinate plane. The location of this point is an ordered pair with an x coordinate and a y coordinate. Now, for the x position, we need to see where on the x-axis this point is. Okay, so here's the x-axis. It's horizontal. So where is it on the x-axis? We would just go straight down. It is at 5. So this point, the x position, is a 5. Now, what about the y? Here's the y-axis. The y would be right at 7. So there we go. We have a point on this plane. The coordinates for this point is 5, 7. Okay, this is an ordered pair. What about, let me see, try to change colors. What about if we were right here? What would our ordered pair be? Okay, so where is our x? So x, we're at -9. Okay, -9. And then what about our y? Here's our y-axis. Where are we on the y's? We are at, boom, -3. Okay, -9, -3. That would be our coordinates for this point. And we could keep going. But one of the things you'll notice is the x-axis is a number line. We've looked at number lines in previous videos, right? The x-axis is a number line. This is 0 right here. On the right we have positive integers. On the left, negative. So the x-axis is a number line. But the y-axis is also a number line. It's just a vertical line instead of horizontal. For the y values, the positives are above and the negatives are below 0. So I said before, right, this point right here is called the origin. Right, origin. What would the location, what is the coordinate? What are the coordinates for the origin? Remember, coordinates are x, comma, y, right? So where are we on the x for the origin? 0. And then where are we for the y? Also 0. So the origin, the coordinates are 0, 0. For the x values, anything to the right of the origin is positive, anything to the left is negative. For the y values, above the origin is positive, and below the origin is negative. Okay. So now let me just draw a couple of points. Just gonna randomly draw a couple of points, okay, and then we're gonna find or write down their locations. How about there? How about right here? And right there. And right here. And then there. And then maybe, let's see, how about one right there. And then one right there. And last one. Last one here. Okay, so I'm just going to go one by one here. Okay, let's start with this one here in quadrant 1. This is quadrant 1. So for all of these, remember, we want to know their x and their y. So x comma y, okay? So right here, where's our x? 3, positive, right? 3. Our y is at 6. Second quadrant, right here. Okay, this point. Our x is a -1. Our y is a 9. Boom, -1, 9. This one. Our x is a -10. Our y is a 5. That's quadrant 2. Now, this point and this point I'm going to do last, okay? Let's move on to quadrant 3. Our x is at -5. Right, -5. Our y is at -6. Quadrant 3. Quadrant 4. This point here. We're at 3, -4. Oops, sorry. That should be a positive. 3, -4. And last, we have this point. We are at 9, -8. All right, now, what about this point and this point? Same procedure, okay? Let's take this point right here. Where's our x? Our x is at a -4. What about our y? Where are we? Well, if you're on the x-axis, the y is a 0. Remember, this point, the origin is 0, 0. So our y, in this case, is a 0. Okay, that's for this one. And for this point, where's our x? Our x is a 0, right here. And our y is a -3. Alright, so that's a sample of a bunch of points. The points' locations are named by an ordered pair consisting of an x-coordinate and a y-coordinate. Remember that for the x-axis, the right side is positive. And for the y-axis, the top side is positive. Okay? So today's kind of an introduction to how do you locate points on a coordinate plane. Remember, this whole thing right here, this whole thing is a coordinate plane. Okay, and hopefully at this point you understand why it is named a coordinate plane. Because it is a plane containing a bunch of coordinates.